Okay, the Book of Jasher. I'm not gonna go on very long about it. Uh, no, I don't think it's an inspired book. I don't know exactly when it was written, but there are certain absurd things in the story. I think Leah was summoning the spirit of Jacob or something. I can't quite remember. I read it like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I have a copy. I own a copy. But thinking about it, I think the Book of Jasher is more like I think of it more like a Bible fiction, kind of like let's say Ben Hur would be to us in Christian times. We know Ben Hur is a fictional story, but it kind of serves in a way to inspire Christians and everything. We enjoy watching it at Easter or Christmas, and I think, and quite possibly, the Book of Jasher was sort of fictional writing with the same thing in mind. It just seems that certain events are so sensational and absurd that they kind of fit more into some kind of absurd drama. I'm not sure if perhaps you've seen the is it about 4 or 5 years ago? HBO or Showtime did a series called Rome. It was kind of a take on the events of Julius Caesar and Pompey. Certainly, some of the history is correct. There was a Caesar called Julius. And there was a civil revolt between him and Pompey where he took power and such. But the series was kind of a drama piece. It took a couple fictional characters and it kind of told interesting stories that were all made up that kind of surrounded all the events of the historic account for pure entertainment. And I kind of view the Book of Jasher the same way. It seems that a lot of the things in there are just so sensationalist that I think it's all fiction. I did enjoy reading it. It was almost inspiring in a sense. I like the story about Abraham approaching his father's his idol room, and then he smashed all the idols, and then when his father came back, he accused Abraham of smashing him, and then he pointed to the one big statue of the biggest statue which he didn't smash, and then he said he did it, and then Abraham's father said, he didn't smash him, he can't do that, and then Abraham looked at him and said, well, if he can't even smash, clay and wood idols, why do you even worship him? Yeah, it was an interesting writing, and it had little events like that. I don't think they happened, but they probably served, as a kind of a enjoyable fictional Bible fiction of the Jews back then. And there's all sorts of absurd little things like Enoch meeting Nimrod in the forest while each were hunting, and Enoch came across Nimrod, and then he slew him. Because you can read in Genesis they were both hunters. There's no indication they ever even knew each other, but you can see how an author could have noticed those things and then just kind of made a fictitious little story around it for entertainment purposes. So that's kind of how I view the Book of Jasher. I don't think we should look at it as a serious book, because when you look at it, there is some weird stuff in there, and I don't really understand why we would need a second record of Genesis. It's kind of like saying Genesis wasn't good enough. So an interesting read, but certainly not canon.